Tedlington will pull an arrow out, and he's going to pull out a torch, and he's going to, scrape the pitch from the torch onto the arrow.
Thad is going to pick into the next room and see if he sees webbing.
Yes. Just getting close enough to the entryway, you see the entire floor. They're kind of erratically placed. There's gaps that can be stepped in to avoid touching the web, but it pretty much covers every space you can see.
That's what I need to know. I'm going to aim for about the farthest webbing I can see, and then I'm going to firebolt.
Okay.
And then I'm guessing, Tedlington, you were doing the same thing, basically.
Yes, because we can only see partially. Effectively, I was making a arrow fireable torch to put, a 30-foot radius light in the middle of the room.
Okay, what I was planning on doing was lighting up all of the spiders.
Yeah, I mean, if that's what my torch thing causes, that's fine.
As soon as that firebolt strikes the webbing, it ignites, and these flames slowly but surely start to spread throughout the room. And almost instantly, you see a huge spider, at least 8 feet in width, with large, bulbous eyes, hobbling across the webbed flooring towards the flame. Its appearance is hideous, the head covered in dozens of extra eyes, all pale and white. It suffers as the other creatures you have encountered did, with eldritch proportions to its body and legs, and hideous indescribable deformities that make it seem like a twisted, terrible echo of a spider. That light that you saw before in the wisp, and the one that consumed Basira, pulses terribly from within its large, swollen abdomen. Now that it has moved closer, and as the fire sort of spreads outwards and eats more of the webbing, it's cast in a little bit more shadow again, and now you can still see it in the dark. A faint glow coming from within its body. Not enough to see its full silhouette, but enough to know where it is in the dark. It is 60 feet away. The room is dimly lit by the flames spreading across its floor, eating away at cobwebs that have been scattered about. Across this floor, you can see various huge cave columns, composed of ancient fusions of mineral deposits. They reach up high into the darkness beyond the range of your vision, and the range of the light from the flames. All these columns as well are coated with irregularly cast spider webbing. You have set the webbing on fire. The 4 of you, along with Erwin, are standing around the bodies that you've discovered on the floor in this smaller tunnel looking out into this enormous cavernous space that you cannot see the full breadth of from your current position. Cavern columns made of ancient formations of stalagmites and stalactites rise up into the darkness beyond your range of sight. This cave is very old and very big, and judging by the spider that you can see in the dim light of the fire, very unsafe. Despite the flames, the spider doesn't seem to actually notice you or respond in any way. They don't seem to see you. Sort of scuttling around, and it seems almost like it's searching. Based on the way that this horrible monstrosity is moving about the environment, it doesn't take long for you to realize it's blind.
Do I know much about spiders and what their senses are? I'll do history.
Yikes. No, you don't. Large spiders are relatively common, but not common enough that you would have, decent knowledge of how they behave and how they sense their surroundings.
Do we have a path to the other side circumnavigating this spider?
From what you can tell, the flames are burning relatively slowly. You can't see very far into this room. There's plenty of places to go, it's just that it's also, the floor is covered in spider web. Yes, there is a way around the spider. It might not necessarily be fast if you want to avoid stepping and everything.
The spider appears to be blind and we might be able to get around it.
How blind do you think it is? Do you think it's primarily working off of hearing, or some kind of spider sense, maybe?
Forgive me for being the spider in the room, but I believe it probably works off of feeling movement in the webs, which is why I believe if we want to sneak past it without engaging it, it'd be a good idea to burn all the webs away, which making it effectively completely blind.
Does that matter when the webs are on the ground?
Depends on the spider, but yeah, if you touch the webs, the spider's going to know. If you just touch the ground, you probably have to be a lot closer to it, I would think. Shakes multiple arms in their direction.
Well, I suppose the first flamey ball of death doesn't cost us anything, right? We could throw a few more of those, huh, friend?
Yeah, no problem.
I mean, unless you can negotiate with it. Do you speak spider?
Thad proceeds to shoot a couple more firebolts, and this time he tries to create like a path along the outside that's like burning the webs away. He's not necessarily aiming so much for the webs as in like separating the webs near the wall from where the big spiders are to try to like create a path.
So you're trying to sever the webbing so they can't detect any motion or vibration, even if you know, or are you just burning away the webbing like...
Both together, both. The idea is to create a path that's severed from the central spider, which would also give us a lighted path.
As you start tossing out firebolts, I'm assuming you're doing this from the safety of where you're standing and not actually entering the room yet?
Yes.
Okay. As soon as you throw, like, the first firebolt and it strikes the webbing on the floor, it starts to ignite, but at the same time, that spider that you can vaguely see in the center, its terrible, twisted silhouette, seems to jump and skitter off towards where you have thrown the firebolt to investigate.
If it does that, I'm immediately going to shoot one off in the distance to like send it skittering away from us.
As you're winding up to shoot that second firebolt, something unexpected happens. From the darkness above, this other spider descends a second. Just as large, just as twisted, striking at the first, sinking its fangs into the backside of its twin. The room is now filled with horrible scrabbling of spider legs, of hissing and shrieking as they tumble about the floor. They're fighting. There are now two spiders.
I see, this is a total win.
Indeed. We can just keep with our plan and skirt the outside of this whole mess, as long as we don't touch the webs.
Let's not be too hasty. We should be wary of what they're doing.
The sooner we get out of here, the better.
Continues burning webs. And I'm going to say to Tedlington, if one of them starts coming towards us, can you shoot that fire arrow you prepared? Off in the distance somewhere as a distraction.
Ooh, a wise idea. I will be ready, and I will hold the action to do that.
These spiders are a little bit too caught up in their own battle to notice these other firings. They don't seem to respond. But you're noticing something a little bit concerning. The webbing on the floor is a bit thicker and more copious than initially assessed. As these fires spread, the room is becoming very hot, and it's starting to look like you've just made things worse. You can see the edges and the corners of this large cavern. It's at least 100, probably over 100 feet long, and maybe about 90 feet wide. It is an enormous room. You still can't see the ceiling, but there is now a conflagration spreading throughout this cavern.
How far would you say the spider fight is from us at this moment?
Probably about 20 feet away, maybe?
Last I checked, we had a bundle of explosives that might be ideal for dealing with something like this.
I was thinking the same thing.
That's because we're both equally smart people.
Sure.
Hold on, wait. Are you sure that's a good idea?
Absolutely
I'd
not.
be leery.
We
I
could
don't want
bring the
any
whole
explosion.
cave down on our heads. We'd kill the spiders and ourselves.
You have a point.
I think we should just book it and hope they don't notice.
Considering the fire spreading from where we were, we should have a path, like, in between the flames out. So, let's get out.
So you guys are just gonna sprint through the gaps in the flames where the webs are gone, and just in an effort to cross the room? And you use stealth instead. I mean, I guess it's... I mean, I think so.
I'll go slower.
Yeah.
The thing I'll kind of argue is I feel like this is the most audible clutter for the spiders there's going to be in the room, so we should just be moving quickly.
You're saying move fast. Rykul is saying move slow but stealthily. I'm saying let's strike a balance.
I agree that the stealth is probably less necessary, because if they're dealing with vibrations, they're currently locked in spider combat. It'd be odd for them to break apart and be like, I felt a much smaller vibration, let's go after that. Acrobatics sounds more reasonable than athletics, which would be like an outright sprint. That would concern me.
Whatever you choose to do, Erwin will follow.
Yeah, Erwin's probably dexterous. He's tiny. He's adorable.
He's not that small. I mean, he's shorter than Tedlington.
Yeah,
but
he's adorable.
everyone's shorter than Tedlington. Do acrobatics then? Is that the plan? Okay.
Dice Maiden strikes again.
It is a very bad day for Thad. A couple of things happen all at once. You all make it about halfway across this room when, Thad, you're an Arcana. This is your forte. There was no mistake on your part that caused this failure. What happened was something unexpected fell from above and slammed into the cavern floor directly in front of you on your path, making a loud metallic clattering sound. This was a bundle of corpses stuck in webbing. There are 2 armored figures, just as desiccated and decayed as every other body you found so far. The impact of the floor actually disintegrated large portions of the bodies, and something clatters across the floor between your legs, Thad, and to the feet of Garan. It is a golden ring with a purple rose inset inside it, and you recognize this to have belonged to Giles, the man you were here to find in the first place. It was his good luck charm. He never went anywhere without it.
I'll grab that.
Okay. As that happens, that's a very loud noise. Hank, you got your ankle caught in some webbing. Due to all the commotion, you got distracted and took a step backwards in surprise. You didn't shout or scream. You just took a step back because something huge just fell down. And in doing so, you got your ankle tangled in some webbing that hadn't yet burned away and fell over, landing on your back. The spiders are now aware of your presence and are coming towards you. I need you all to roll initiative. Hank, you rolled a 9, and then Thad rolled a 16, and Garan rolled a 12, and Tedlington rolled an 18. So, you've got 2 8-foot-wide spiders scuttling across the floor towards you. From your right, Tedlington, you are first in the initiative order. In fact, I think you had an action readied already, so I say you just get to do that for free because you were already ready to do that at a moment's notice, I think.
So how far? You said we were halfway into the cavern?
Yes, you're basically at the center, and they're scuttling towards you.
So then I will loose the arrow. Basically, I'm going to try and shoot it down the hall we just left, because they're on the left side, right?
The arrow sails through the air and lands without a fuss in that cavern area. In fact, hopefully no one was watching, it does land directly into one of the bodies and sets it on fire, sets all the webbing that's on the dead body on fire. The unfortunate thing for you, Tedlington, is that your successful shot seems to have done nothing to attract the spider's attention.
I see. Well, I tried. Next step, looking ahead, I will try to book it down the rest of the room.
Oh, so you're gonna run. That puts you halfway between that middle rock and the final, column.
And the spiders glow a little bit, right?
Yes, they have a faint glow of that light inside their body, yeah.
So we have a little bit of light from the fire and a little bit of light from the spiders themselves.
Yes, the fire is spread pretty much everywhere. Like I said, the webbing is pretty thick, so it hasn't fully burned away.
If I can make it to the second tunnel, then I'll dash. If I can make it to the mouth of the second tunnel, I'll use the dash action.
And that lets you run another 30 feet. I don't think it gets you quite there. You're basically, about 10 feet away.
That'll work for me. That's fine.
That's your turn. You're at the front of the party, because you were the first to encounter the falling bodies.
Important question. The spiders chasing us, from my perspective, are they in a line?
They're not quite in a line. They are sort of diagonal from each other. One's a little bit further behind than the other because it was the one that got attacked initially and had to recover before coming in.
Let me rephrase the question. If I was to draw a 5-foot wide line from me, could I hit both of them? 5 feet wide, 30 feet long.
It would be more likely to graze them than hit them directly, but you could give it a shot. I don't see why not.
It's Tasha's Caustic Brew.
So it's an acid attack.
It's specifically a stream of acid emanates from you in a line 30 feet long, 5 feet wide in a direction you choose. Each creature in the line must succeed on a dex saving throw or be covered in acid for the spell's duration, or until a creature uses its action to scrape or wash the acid off itself or another creature. A creature covered in the acid takes 2d4 acid damage at the start of each of his turns. My idea is that if they're distracted with this burning acid on them, maybe they'll spend a little less time chasing us.
They need to make a dex save. Okay, so you fire the stream of acid outwards, and what's the DC for this save?
12, and it's going to hit everything in that 30-foot line. Whether there's little spiders, big spiders, bodies, anything.
Okay, the second one saved, the first one failed. So the one closest to you failed the save.
Good, that works for me, because it's going to be busy scrabbling around and lashing out and everything. Hopefully it'll distract the other. A spider traffic jam. And then
Okay.
I am going to use the rest of my movement to book it. And since I have a climb speed, I'm just going to go directly as possible.
I think the closest is still directly on foot.
Yeah, that or over bodies, over rubble that falls, whatever.
Fortunately, no rubble. The cave is not collapsing, but just burning and spidery. Okay, so unfortunately for you, Thad, it turns out that this was not quite enough. The spiders had gotten close enough to the party to successfully identify them, and since Hank indeed got caught in the web, I imagine Hank is probably going to be the first one they go for. So Hank, they don't initially attack you. What happens, Hank, is that they close the distance and almost face to face with this horrifying, twisted abomination, looking at its cluster of deformed and misshapen eyes. And I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. Oh dear. Hank,
Likely a fail.
this is a very bad day for you. You are instantly paralyzed on the spot in fear. It's not just the twisted form of the spider that's filling you with this dread, it's also the light that seems to be shining out of its pale, almost sightless eyes as it wiggles its misshapen mandibles and readies to bite you. There you
You
go.
usually hear Hank's voice. What is this abomination? And he cuts off because he's paralyzed.
Let's see. Do they have multi-attack? They don't. Okay, so you are lucky that this thing is winding up to bite you, but it won't be biting you this turn. The other spider goes for Erwin. This is not good. Erwin had stopped because everyone was running, and he had stopped when he noticed that you weren't next to him, Hank. And he turned around to see you paralyzed in the gaze of this spider, just as the other one sort of like strafes around the spider that had stopped and lunges directly for Erwin, knocking him to the floor and sinking its fangs into his shoulder. He takes 1d8 plus 3 piercing damage. So he takes 11 piercing damage, but on top of that, he takes 6 necrotic damage just automatically. He can't get up. He's not unconscious, but Erwin is horribly maimed already by this spider that has knocked him to the floor, and all you can hear is like a gurgled scream as he is pinned to the floor by this monstrous spider. And that's the end of the spider's turn. Erwin, in a desperate attempt to get the spider off of him, casts Magic Missile directly into the spider's face, all 3 darts. It's almost like he set off fireworks directly under the spider as he fires off these purple darts that instantly strike the spider in its face point blank, doing 13 points of force damage. The spider makes this ungodly, gurgling hiss as it staggers backwards and sort of like protects its eyes with its pedipalps. Erwin is still on the floor, bleeding horribly, but those impacts caused several of the eyes to pop. Basically, they disintegrated into powder from the impact, but it still seems to be very much in the fight.
I want to try and free Hank. So he's trapped in the webs and paralyzed?
He only got his foot caught briefly. He's only paralyzed. He's not also caught in the webbing.
Okay, so then I can just throw him over my shoulder then? In whatever way is most expedient to grab him and move him with me towards Ted.
In this particular circumstance, I will say that you can do this. However, this will provoke an opportunity attack because you will be entering and then leaving the spider's space.
Am I able to disengage?
Yes. So that prevents opportunity attacks, correct? Okay, so you've got Hank. Are you like in a fireman carry him, or are you just dragging him from like underneath his arms?
I'll fireman carry him. It's easier to carry big heavy things that way.
Hank?
I'm incapacitated.
Yes, I believe you can still make a save against paralysis, correct?
That's up to you if you want this effect to be like I can make a save at the end of my turn.
I would rather you make
Yeah.
it at the beginning of your turn.
Is it the same wisdom save?
Yes, much better. Hank will say that it was probably a combination of both Garan grabbing you and dragging you away, but also Erwin's condition, because he heard Erwin get like grievously injured. I need to snap out of it, you know?
So Garan pulls me away, and then Erwin is attacked, and he attacks back, and then I get my save, and so now it's my turn. At that point, I kind of, not like violently, but I push Garan, yell to get back, and then I'm going to cast a second level guiding bolt on that spider.
Guiding bolt on the one that attacked. Which one? The one that attacked Erwin specifically?
Yeah, the one that's attacking Erwin. It is a ranged spell attack, and casting it at higher levels, it adds a d6 for each spell slot. So it's at second level, that's going to be 5d6 if I hit.
Okay, make an attack roll. Oh, guess what? So this beam of holy light streaks through the air from your outstretched hand and strikes the spider directly in the face.
Okay.
Yeah, roll that damage. 5d6 is a lot.
Ooh, 22 radiant damage.
Good lord. Yeah, this guiding bolt hits the spider very hard, and it scuttles even further back and, like, raises up on its legs and shrieks. It's a sound that makes you kind of want to throw up. It's like a very nauseating sound that this thing has made. You have made a decent dent into its cluster of misshapen eyes on its face, and it is now at least, like, 10 feet away from Erwin. The other spider is still pursuing you and Garan now.
And I would like to use the rest of my movement to put myself between Erwin and the spiders.
You've positioned yourself so you've got the big spider that paralyzed you initially sort of diagonally to your left, and the other one sort of to your right, Hank.
Trying to protect Erwin, basically.
Got you. Okay, and is that all you can do this turn?
Yes, that was my action.
Tedlington!
I'm going to call out, and we tried once before in common, so this time I'm going to yell in orc. And I'm going to say, "Stand down, strange beings, lest we hurt you further."
You're just gonna yell that?
Well, first, yeah.
Tedlington, you have given me a gift this day. Thank you. This doesn't do what you think it's going to do. You're like hoping to establish some kind of communication or rapport with these aggressive, monstrous spiders, and all you managed to do is attract more attention. One of the spiders is clearly still focused on Hank, and the other ones seem to sort of like scuttle and like adjust their positioning when they hear the sound, but they don't seem to come after you. But you feel the hairs on the back of your neck stand up on end, and you hear the faint sound of scuttling legs scraping on stone as a third spider makes its presence known, clinging to the wall above the exit behind you. It's still not able to, like, attack you, but it is definitely getting ready to do so. So what else are you going to do? Talking's a free action.
Yep. So running under that spider out, will I engage in attack of opportunity?
Yes, I think it would invoke attacks of opportunity, because it's close enough.
Okay. In that case, actually, this works out just fine. So one of the spiders has backed off from taking massive damage. That was the Erwin spider. The other one seems to be targeting Garan and Hank. Do I think that either of those spiders is about to attack Erwin this turn?
There's no way of knowing. The risk is there, but you can't determine for sure whether another attack will be coming for your downed friend. You can't tell.
Okay, then in that case, how high up is the spider on the wall?
About 8 feet up.
Oh, so he's just right up over the entrance.
Yes.
Okay, well in that case, we're going to get a little fancy with it. First, I pull my longbow taut, and I fire at the spider that attacked Erwin. So let me roll that.
You get advantage on that.
You get advantage on that, yes, because of Guiding Bolt. Correct.
And then, I'm going to use my sharpshooter ability, which subtracts 5 from the to hit, in order to increase the static damage bonus by 10.
Okay.
So here's the first one.
That does hit.
20 total damage.
Jeez, okay. And you're firing a single arrow, correct?
One single arrow.
In any particular place on the body you're aiming for?
Well, the eyes again. I'll follow the guiding bolt provided by my friend.
You fire that arrow with an impressive amount of precision across this dimly lit room. It sails quietly through the air, arcs over everyone in the party. You can't even hear the sound of it landing, you're too far away, but it goes right into its face. In fact, the arrow goes all the way through its head and out the underside and strikes the floor. And this thing just... I don't have words to describe the noises it makes. It's kind of having a hard time even making noise now because of what y'all have done to its head. It's not looking good, though. From your vantage point, Hank, you can tell that there's bits of its body that are now starting to flake off. A lot like Basira when she was disintegrating in her home. There's bits of the exoskeleton that are flaking away like bits of burnt parchment. What else are you going to do, Tedlington?
I'm going to yell out once more and say, "I warned you!" And then I'm going to use Action Surge, take the disengage action, and run down the tunnel, 30 feet down.
Okay, Thad, it's your turn. You are 30 feet away from the exit. You're right next to that final cave column, on the right.
And I'm assuming since I was still going towards the exit, I see that spider.
Yes.
Well, seeing that he shot, I'm going to look, confirming did he kill something or not.
He did not, but you can confirm the hit.
So now Thad's going to keep 2 of his eyes on the spider above the door and the rest of his eyes on what's going on over there. And then he's going to try to do a supporting fire thing. Can he see how wounded the wounded one is?
It's taking quite a beating in the face, I'll say that. It's bloodied.
How far away are the 2 spiders from me?
60 feet.
Are they within 5 feet of each other or not?
No, they're not.
So what Thad's going to do, he's going to yell out to Hank, grab Erwin and run. He's going to climb 10 or so feet up this pillar with the spider climb, and then he's going to take a shot at the spider that's attacking Hank and them.
So you're going to go after the one that had the acid splashed on.
But I'm going partway onto the pillar. I'm trying to draw its attention up and away from them.
Okay, what attack are you going to throw its way?
My lightning thing.
Ooh, the lightning launcher. Okay, that's just a ranged attack.
That's a 15.
Yes, that hits.
So it does 1d6 plus 2 damage, but once on each of my turns when I hit a creature with it, I can deal an extra 1d6 just because.
Roll that damage for me. 9. That's not bad. Yeah, so this arc of electricity dances through the air and it illuminates the darker upper portions of this room as it strikes this spider. Kind of takes you by surprise, Hank, as this arc of lightning strikes this thing from an awkward angle, and it starts to convulse and shriek, and its mouth splits open, and it is all sorts of jacked up in there. There's bits in there that shouldn't be there. Those teeth? You're not even sure what's going on with its body. It takes a couple of steps back, so it's about 5 feet away from you, Hank, instead of literally staring you down.
Would this be an action, or would this be a bonus action if I just wanted to toss something?
What is this item?
I have one more Tedlington talking rock. Whenever tapped by a creature, the object emits a recorded message that can be heard up to 10 feet away. You utter the message when you bestow this property on the object, and the recording can be no more than 6 seconds long. So I would tap it and throw it.
I would say go for it. Just throw it.
Yeah, I'm just going to toss it on the opposite side of the cave from us.
This little rock sails through the air and clatters to the floor towards the entrance that you came in through, and the audio starts to play.
It'll make everyone feel better and lighten the mood. Stories about me.
And the spider that got injured initially, the one that got shot in the face multiple times, is closest to this and seems to turn its attention in that direction, deciding that maybe whatever that is a better target than whatever he just attacked, because, ow. Is that all you can do, Thad?
Yeah, I'm going to sit here on the pillar.
It is now the spider's turn. You could see, the acid sizzling on its body from your vantage point, Thad, and it takes an additional 8 acid damage this time. You got the max out of that one.
I'm keeping part of my eyes on the battlefield and part of my eyes on that spider above the door.
That spider above the door bends its abdomen slightly forward, and I need you to make a dex save as it launches a gob of silk and thread out at you in an effort to ensnare you. Sort of like a little sticky grappling hook.
11.
Unfortunately, while you are paying attention, you're not quite fast enough as this webbing strikes you and covers your whole body and you get entangled within it. Restrained creature's speed becomes 0 and it can't benefit from any bonus to its speed. Attack rolls have advantage and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage, and then you have disadvantage on dexterity saves. So you are restrained, and now that you are caught in this webbing, it yanks it back towards itself, and you find yourself pulled from the pillar and hanging upside down in front of this thing's face, sort of very gently spinning as it gets ready to bite you. But that is all it does on its turn.
This spider has made a terrible mistake.
Hank, this thing lurches towards you in an effort to bite you. Your AC is 15, as I recall, correct?
Yeah.
What's your HP? 28. Not bad. Okay. That's a 11 plus 5 to hit, so that's a 16.
That hits me.
It basically gets up on its hind legs and instantly sinks its fangs into your shoulder. You automatically take 6 necrotic damage just from that, but you take 14 total damage from this attack. It goes through your armor and clothes, and it burns, and it sears, and it's cold. You are not grappled, but you are very injured.
You hear Hank's yell of pain.
As you are bitten, the other spider sort of starts searching around and seems confused as it's looking for the source of this noise of Tedlington telling a story of one of his adventures. And it's just tapping the floor and turning its head left and right and sort of strafing around the spot, and it cannot seem to identify what is going on. And it just seems to be frustrated, but otherwise not engaged in combat at this exact moment.
I was gonna tell Garan to grab Erwin and run. So you just hear you hear Hank go, "Take the boy, get out of here!"
Garan next.
I'll unsheath my cane sword and I'm going to attack the spider that's attacking Hank. So I'm going to make an attack with my sword and then also with the sheath.
Okay, the sheath is bludgeoning, I think.
Yes.
You're gonna stab it and then beat it over the head.
Yes.
Justifiable. That hits. 11 for the sword, and then you're hitting it again with the sheath. Here's what happens, Garan. You dart inward and thrust the sword directly into the spider's face. You stab it in the open mouth and sink the sword as far in as you can get it without endangering yourself. And then as you pull it out, you follow it up by swinging the sheath sort of like a club and striking it in the side of the head. And to your vast surprise, this leaves a sheath-shaped indentation in the side of this critter's face with a sickening crunch, and it takes 20 damage from that cane strike. This thing reels from that impact and strafes in the direction opposite of where you hit it and scrabbles against the floor. It's trying to get away from your immediate vicinity because that really packed a wallop. All right, it is now Erwin's turn. He is on the floor. Let's take a check on his health real quick, because he took, like, 17 damage. Erwin's on 1 HP. He's basically moaning in pain on the floor, and he's on his back, and he's sort of very barely able to look around and see what's going on. He coughs up a bit of blood, and holds out a shaky hand, and points it towards the spider. Just points it sort of, like, to his left in you guys' general direction. And he casts Scorching Ray. He fires 2 of those bolts at the spider that bit him, and 1 at the spider that's currently engaged with the 2 of you. All 3 of them hit. Fantastic. It seems that he has a fondness for the color purple, because these beams are sort of like wreathed in a bright purple light, but like the center of these thin rays are like a dark black. They basically shoot directly out of his hand and into that spider that's currently trying to figure out where this disembodied Tedlington voice is coming from. And they sear long lines of burnt flesh and like across its body, and it sort of staggers. It also slices through 2 of its legs, which promptly just disintegrate before even hitting the floor. And it's just sort of thrashing about now in pain. It looks like it's on its last legs. Ha ha ha! That's 15 damage on the spider that attacked Erwin initially. The other one got hit for 6. It strikes it again, this time in a leg. He doesn't quite get a full direct hit off on that. It goes right between you two, by the way. Hank and Garan are like next to each other. It sails between both of you. Its front left leg just gets sort of sliced right off by the attack. Erwin's hand then promptly slumps to the floor, and that's the end of his turn. Hank, it's now your turn.
Boy, not quite, because I'm going to grab his hand and use my bonus action to use Healing Light. There's 2d6 back to him, so that is 8 healing to him.
Erwin is now at 9 HP. Some of the wound starts to seal up. He definitely still looks pretty terrible, but less so than before. Just hear him groan like a, hey, thank you.
Right, and then I'm going to sling him over my shoulder, and I'm going to use my action to dash for the exit.
60 feet. Okay, you're running in that direction, and you get a clear view of something you probably weren't aware of until now, of Thad currently in some dire straits, sort of bundled up and hanging in front of another spider that you probably weren't aware existed until right this moment as you're running. You have Erwin with you.
All right, and I believe that's my turn.
Tedlington, you're 30 feet into the cave. Are you playing cards?
Definitely not. I have just made a strategic advance, and now I will turn back and, using my immense range, begin raining arrows back upon my foes.
Okay. From your position in that cave, you are at best able to shoot the spider currently engaged with Garan. The one that initially bit Erwin is not in your line of sight and cannot be hit. It is too far away and behind a cave column.
So I'm going to shoot at the one that attacked Garan. Okay, so here's the attack roll.
Yep, that hits.
That is with sharpshooter, so it will do 16 damage to that spider.
That is a killing blow, Tedlington. You fire this arrow, and it sails through the air, lands directly into the spider's back. It goes right through the abdomen, out the other side, and strikes the cave floor. Tink! And spins off and clatters across the cavern floor. This spider convulses in front of you, Garan. Its legs buckle underneath it as it slams into the floor, and you watch as its body begins to just cave in on itself and disintegrate before your eyes. The light that was pulsing from within its body fades out until the spider is just a gray husk that disintegrates into a misshapen, mangled corpse. Nice shot.
All according to plan. From 300 feet away.
Next in the order, Thad, you are currently tied up by a spider.
All these spiders are effectively hearing through the vibrations in the webbing and the walls and everything, right?
They also have very limited eyesight, but only to a certain distance. That's why they weren't fooled by some of your tactics, because they're not completely blind.
Webs are still covering the ceiling, right?
You can't see the ceiling because it's just too dark up there, but the webs cover every surface you can see.
Okay, so the spider that's holding me is making a lot of contact with a lot of web, right? And a 15-foot cube, let's say?
Yes, you are also in that 15-foot cube, but I would say that's accurate.
Okay, wonderful. Then we're going to give the spider a good case of sensory overload. Thunderwave, make a constitution saving throw. The Thunderwave also makes a thunderous boom audible out to 300 feet, but that thunderous boom is thunder damage going through vibrations through all the web and walls and everything. Kind of like being blinded in its way of sensing things.
Does an 11 save? I imagine the answer is no.
No, save is 12.
Well, then it failed, and it gets knocked 10 feet away. It takes 12.
Yeah.
This shockwave of sound that just, reverberates outwards from where you are hanging, you can see a visible brief pressing inwards of its carapace as this shockwave hits its body, and it shrieks and hisses, but you can barely hear it over the sound. And it instantly loses its grip with the wall and falls downwards and lands on its back and takes 6 additional damage from hitting the floor. Thad, as you are casting that spell, the webbing just kind of breaks apart. You bust free of it as the wave of sound echoes outwards from where you are and ripples in every direction. The room shakes a bit. Some bits of nearby stalactite fall off of the column, but otherwise there is no change in the stability of the cave around you. This noise does echo absolutely everywhere. Make a dexterity saving throw, and I will say because you were prepping yourself to cast the spell, you have advantage to land on your feet.
That's an 18.
Yeah, you land just fine.
Like a ninja.
Like a ninja, yes. You break free and land without issue. You are in front of the spider about 5 feet away. It is on its back in front of the exit to the room, so it is prone. It took 18 total damage from all of that, from falling and from the thunder wave. So, is that all you can do?
I am going to skitter around to the other side of it. I'm not actually going into the cave. I'm just going to keep it there so when Hank and everybody else get to it, they can just wail on it.
Perfect. Thad, you have managed to get yourself free of the spider's grasp with no injury to yourself. However, the spider does not take long to recover, bending its legs in an awkward and unusual fashion and getting back up onto its feet. It turns its attention to you and prepares to attack when, what a shock, boom, another spider. It just comes careening from above out of the darkness at very high speed and just leaps down onto the one that was attacking you. And in a tangle of limbs, rolls off to the left side of the cavern exit, and they start fighting. That other spider takes 20 damage from the attack. The spider that was getting hit by Scorching Ray and dealing with Tedlington's little narration stone, it raises up on its legs and shrieks. And in full view of you, Garan, you see it cover its face and scuttle backwards up the wall and out of sight, and it is disengaged from combat altogether. That is the end of the spider's turn. It's now Garen's turn. There is no longer any hostile entity around you. The spider you were engaged in is dead, and the other one left has decided to book it. There is a clear path to the exit.
Alright, I'll follow Hank.
Okay, so you're running that way as well. In fact, we are just going to say, due to the spiders being engaged in a fight of their own, that they are sufficiently distracted enough to consider this the end of combat. Hank, you were probably ready and engaged to attack that other spider as it got up and prepared to fight Thad, only for it to get bodied out of the way by yet another spider, and you decided, you know what? I'm just going to take the opening and run.
I stopped for a second. I was about to ready my weapon for a spell, and I was like, this works out, and I start running.
Yes. Thad, you are fortunate as well that the trajectory of the newcomer didn't hit you on its way into the scene. You all narrowly escape. Congratulations. You guys are about 30 feet down the cave, free of the spiders. You could still keep moving until you can't hear them fighting anymore, just to be sure that you're in a safe place.
In the event that we have to come back through this area, won't the spiders still be there?
It'll take them a long time to replace all that web, I would think.
I think maybe next time we just run and worry less about the logistics of the spiders.
Erwin, you fought bravely. You did very well.
He just holds up a thumb shakily because he's kind of like laying over Hank's shoulder. Like, yeah, sure, whatever, buddy.
Yes, that was very valiant of you.
Thank you.
Honestly, I'm impressed.
Erwin sort of pats you on the back. Hank, can you put me down, please?
Take it easy, as I lower him down gently.
Thank you. He sort of looks over everybody, and he says, didn't think my first taste of adventure would be so, bitter.
You survived.
Yeah. He starts laughing, and then it turns into coughing, and he says, I think I have something that might help. And he, digs into his bag, and he pulls out these little golf ball-sized potion bottles with a thin neck, and each one has a cork. There seems to be 5 of them. The liquid inside is dark and sort of maroon in color, and slightly bubbly. And he gestures to give them to you. Bonus credit for school, potion making. I think this might help. I'm saying this out of character. This is my once-in-a-lifetime offer of a single-use long rest.
Oh my goodness.
So we just drink it and it's like a long rest.
Yeah, it behaves as a long rest. So you get all your spell slots back, all your one-time burns, if you have, divine intervention, whatever, all the stuff that you need to rest to get back, you will get back. Erwin basically just instantly, shotguns his own after pulling the cork out with his teeth. And he starts to look a lot better. Almost immediately.
If we wanted to make it a very leisurely stroll or have a seat and just be calm for a minute, if anyone would like me to calligrapher anything for them just while we're sitting around, I'd be happy to do so.
Yeah, I got something for you to write up for me.
Excellent. Letter to a loved one, just want my name anywhere, all good.
So I need you to write a letter to my friend telling him that his son's dead. You can use whatever additional prose you feel is appropriate there.
Ah, yes, very serious, very important. I will take the challenge upon my breast and do my very best for you, sir. I'm going to put a note here that I will write out this letter.
Oh, fantastic.
Dad would like to ask Tedlington to do something too.
Of course, friend. What can I do for you?
I'm going to pick up another rock. Say, would you mind regaling me with some of your stories?
Oh, of course not! And Tedlington looks visibly excited to have a distraction that is also about him. Erwin, come close. These will likely help you in your future adventuring days ahead.
I can hear you just fine from here. Thank you.
2 hours later.
He's waiting for, everyone to be amazed. Feel free to applaud.
I've never heard anything quite like that.
Tedlington was going to ask if anyone got a good look at the creatures, by the way. Because he didn't. He explicitly ran away and disengaged and ran away.
You are fortunate for not having gotten a good close. They are quite ugly.
How ugly?
Something wrong. It's just like the bear.
Much worse than the bear.
Paralyze a man with fear.
That is pretty ugly.
And if they don't paralyze him with fear, they paralyze you with disgust.
I'd rather not continue thinking about it. Erwin looks down into the dark tunnel leading back to where you came from, and he says, I don't know how anyone could have gotten through that room. If this is where the townspeople went, there's no sign of them in there. They were just the militia.
What we can do is keep looking.
The spiders may also have not been there at the time. We've seen whatever changes these affect in creatures have very different gestations, if you will. So it's quite possible these may have been mundane spiders just a month ago.
That's actually what I was about to say.
Ah, see, you and I, we're on the same wavelength because of the smartness we both have.
Sure, if you say so.
Well, there's no need losing hope yet. Those militiamen were prepared for what befell them. Men of arms. Brave, bold to come down this far.
Indeed. We shouldn't dwell on this much longer. I'm ready to move if you are. As I kind of get up and address the group.
Yeah. Abigail would know. Let's go. It was a total of 10. There was 2 initial men that got sent out. They didn't come back, and then 8 were sent out. and only 1 returned, so there should be 9 total militiamen, and you've only found 6.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I wanted, was to get that accurate count. Erwin, what do you mean by Abigail would know?
She was the smarter one. She was more of a divination wizard. She definitely didn't struggle as much as I did in school. She was very good at solving puzzles, putting the pieces together. She was always braver than me, too, I admit. She got into more trouble for sure when we were kids. She would always wander off and explore, and dragged me along for the ride. No matter what.
Well, if she could see you now, I'm sure she'd be mighty impressed.
He had like a pleasant smile on his face as he was thinking about his sister, and then it's sort of like the weight of the situation and that realization that she is probably dead came back. So the smile quickly disappears and is replaced with like one of dread.
We shouldn't expect the worst. There's still much more to see, and even more militia members were still unaccounted for. So we know for sure that militia members and likely some of the townsfolk made it deeper than this.
I don't know if that fills me with confidence.
Just one more step, right? Take that step, and the next one becomes clear.
Right. The tunnel ahead continues at a steeper angle than before, with more fused columns along the edges of the darkened path. It curves gradually to the right as you go, spiraling ever downwards. As you proceed carefully, your conversation is disrupted by a horrendous cacophony further down the tunnel ahead. The echoes of collapsing rock and stone ring loudly through the tunnel for a solid 30 seconds before ceasing, trailing off into silence. Oh, no. Don't tell me that the path just caved in after all of this.
Let's check it out before we abandon all hope.
Not much further ahead, you reach a fork in the tunnel, with the tunnel branching to the left and the right. You are unsure which way to go to proceed. It's sort of like a Y shape. So you enter, and then there's like a diagonal path to the left and to the right. It's too dark down each path, even with dark vision, to immediately tell where is the smart way to go. Garan, always the observant and investigative type. What you notice initially, in the light of your lantern, the tunnel on the left, the walls are much smoother, and they're missing the usual stalagmite and stalactite formations that have been on all the other tunnels so far.
I'll point that out to the group. There's something wicked that way.
Does it appear that there are any tool marks, or is this craftsmanship, or a natural formation, or...
You can make an investigation check, if you'd like, Tedlington.
Sure. I can't wait to see the wrong answer I get from this. Yeah.
Oh dear. Even if there were tools involved, it would have been quite the undertaking to dig a tunnel this tall. This tunnel is 10 feet wide and 10 feet tall. So is the other tunnel, if a little bit more rough around the edges. There's bits of debris on the ground.
I will relay that information to the party.
Can I tell which way the people who came here before us went?
Make an investigation check for me. As you guys are doing that, Erwin is sort of like passing his lantern light over the left and right tunnel, and he's saying, whatever that cave-in was, hopefully it isn't blocking the way forward. 11. This far down, even with the light of your lantern, there's no real way to tell if there's any footprints or evidence of a passage of people.
Okay.
Well, friends, which way do you think we go? If there was a cave-in, it probably would have happened in the rougher tunnel. But then again, whatever smoothed out the tunnel on the left could have also caused a cave-in. I'm at a bit of an impasse.
Can I do a history check to come up with ideas on what might cause that cave not to have those stalagmite formations?
Go ahead and make a history check. I like that. Okay. Wow. Okay. What kind of life does Garan tend to lead? He's an investigator. Does he tend to go out and rough it like this too often? Or is he more of like sticking to cities and, doing like detective work in more well-traversed parts of the world? Like, what's his whole adventuring life like?
He is more of a city boy, but he did grow up working for the library with a cloistered background, so he has exposure to a lot of different texts and references, so he draws on that for more of his adventuring knowledge. That's the history check. But yeah, he does tend to stay in town. He's only out this far because of that favor for his friend.
Okay, cool. So this is a bit out of his depth, I would say. Okay. So,
Literally.
you've read a lot of books in your life. You're a very curious man. I don't know what his disposition is in regards to learning certain kinds of information, but this is definitely a tunnel that was dug out. Now, there's quite a few creatures out there that are capable of doing such things, especially in solid rock, but only a very small number are this big. You can't determine what did it. All you know is that something big came through here.
That's good enough for me.
Yeah.
Let's go the other way.
Okay. I like that he doesn't even communicate it. He's just like, this way. And everyone's like, you know what? Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Let's follow him.
I trust this man.
I'll continue working our way with chalk. I'm carrying that over from last session.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay. That's fair.
It's our first fork, but before I was just doing it to be careful.
Yeah. As you head down the rightmost path, it only takes like a short minute before it becomes apparent that this was the source of the sound from before. You are greeted by a pile of freshly fallen debris from a cave-in. Splintered rock and pieces of demolished mineral columns litter the tunnel floor ahead of the collapse.
Does it look like something that could be easily dug through, or possibly shifted around?
Absolutely not. The whole ceiling of this cave and however much rock and stone and earth was above it had just like busted through the ceiling and filled the tunnel. Some of the rocks are as like big as you are, Tedlington.
I see.
Fantastic.
All right, let's check the other path.
Oh boy, okay.
I'll go ahead and change our marking at the other path.
I felt a bit sheepish because it's like, oh cool, we went this way. It's the dead end. Okay, guess we turn around. Like, wow, cool. Thanks for wasting my time, DM. Like, you know.
I mean, it's like, it's important. Because if we didn't explore the dead end, then we would be constantly wondering if that actually was a dead end.
Sure.
Now we know.
I can confirm that that didn't go anywhere. Okay. So you head back into the main forked area, and you start descending down the path that you were pretty much determined not to go. The left tunnel curves and twists for a brief spell, before ending abruptly at an oddly shaped cave entrance. It is a good 10 feet in diameter, and has strange gray flaps of stone around the edges of the opening. The most noticeable thing is the foul stench that emanates from within this dark tunnel. The interior of the front of this cave is also filled with hundreds of pointed and sharp stalagmites and stalactites.
Now what in the world is this?
And more spider webs.
No webs of any kind. What is this? Erwin walks closer to it and sort of casts his light over the opening. Oh, and it stinks. He steps back.
Can we see anything to the right?
Yeah, it's a tunnel. It's like that's the opening of a tunnel that leads further on.
Well, unless anyone has another idea, I can shoot my torchy fire arrow down there. I never used that before. Light it and shoot it on down there, so we can get a look before we head in.
That sounds good. I'm not really sure why we're doing that now versus every other tunnel, but yeah, we can do that.
Well, the perpendicular stalactites look very strange and abnormal to me. Normally, stalactites are very, very uppy-downy. You know what I mean?
Tedlington, do me a favor. I need you to make an insight check and see if your brain cells activate.
This is gonna be great. It sure is.
It sure is. Tedlington, you haven't spent your whole life with your orc tribe, I'm assuming. You've actually been traveling with people, and you might not be an avid reader of books, but you've definitely listened to other people talk about their profession. I would say that sounds accurate.
Traveling at least 6 months straight, and he loves talking to people.
I would say that helps it be fresh. You remember being bored out of your mind, listening to some dude, you don't even know who this man was, talk about the formation of caves. He's a cave diver. That was his profession. There had been some recent issues with goblins infesting the nearby cave, and this man got off on a tangent while talking to you about the job of going and dealing with the goblins. And you just now recalled that information, that stalagmites and stalactites are formed specifically by water that bring bits of mineral and rock down from above, and over a very long period of time form that shape. It's just deposited minerals from downward flowing water. Stalagmites and stalactites don't stick out of walls left and right. That's not naturally formed at all.
Mm-hmm.
These aren't stalagmites.
It seems even stranger now that I think about it further. Because stalagmites are, I think, on the ground pointing up, and the tights are on the roof coming down, but none of them go sideways, and how would water even do that, right? Ridiculous. I'm not liking this, is the point. That's what I'm trying to get across here.
Yes, that's almost preposterous.
Yeah, indeed, absolutely.
It's been a very long day. I should have seen that right out the gate.
I met a dwarf once who could tell where a stone was from by tasting it. Is anyone able to do that?
If it's magical, I could identify that.
Is that a resource that we use up, or should we save that for later?
Is that like a spell slot, though?
I have a wand of magic detection as an infusion.
Ah, right.
And
okay.
I still have 2 uses left out of the 3.
You can use it if you want, but because I'm a nice DM, I think it would be wasted using it here.
Okay.
So.
Just like Hank would like to, like, maybe snap off one of the ones going sideways and look at it, see if he can discern anything. Probably not, but...
Okay, you don't even need to make a strength check. You, like, reach out to grab one, and it promptly snaps off. You see, like, where it was attached, like, there's little sprinklings of, like, dust that fall down from it. It was very easy to snap off, almost like if you broke a pretzel in half. It was just like, there it is, and now you have it. The first thing you can definitely tell just by looking at it without a check is that it's very smooth and very pointy.
Okay. I don't think Hank would know much about this, so I'll leave it at that. He snaps it off and looks at it for a while, and he looks to Thad and Erwin. Seems extremely smooth, and weak too. Aren't these like the young ones? I know these form over a long time.
Thad is going to look at this for a minute, and he's going to ask for it, like if he can hold it.
Yeah, I'll hand it over.
And he's going to take a dagger and scrape at it a little bit. And what he's looking for is a particular type of dust.
That's an interesting question, and this also brings up an interesting thought that I didn't consider. To clarify for you, Hank, the what you pulled off isn't what's brittle, it's the surface you broke it off of. So this thing is fine, but it's snapped off of the wall super easily. Yeah, so that was on me for not being super clear, but yeah, this thing is pretty solid. It's hard to tell in the lantern light because it casts like a pretty eerie orange glow over everything. Thad, nothing scrapes off.
What about the bottom where he broke it off?
The bottom, yes, there is flakes of whatever material the wall was made of that is like crumbling into powder as you try to scrape at it with your knife.
But it doesn't look like that dust. Dead organic
It's dead
being
person
dust.
dead. Yes, it's dead organic being dust, yes.
It's dead organic being dust.
I mean, it's dust, but it's like the gray powdery stuff, yeah.
Hank, I would step a little bit farther away from that opening if I were you.
Certainly. What seems to be the problem as I step back?
Garan, you remember when I scraped the tree and the bark turned to dust? The dead person dust.
Yeah.
This is the same dust, which means that whatever that is used to be living.
Oh my god. Erwin just takes 3 steps back.
That means it's not anymore, though. Right?
I don't know, because, well, this was separated, and that's usually when the dust forms is whenever it's not connected to something living, at least hypothetically from what we've seen. Either it hasn't collapsed all the way to dust yet, or I don't know.
Garan, make another history check.
Since I was specifically engaging Garen's brain cells.
Yeah, Erwin's oh my god was him realizing what it was, but he's sort of like stunned by what he's looking at, that he hasn't really spoke up. So Garan, roll with advantage, because this time it's sort of like narrowing down your thought process. Holy shit, that's a nat 20, isn't it? Yes, it is. Wow. Garan, I'm grinning ear to ear now, because now that you've looked at this and you've seen them examine this stalagmite, and you've gotten another good look at the opening, the foul stench, the fact that it's organic matter. There are a lot of large burrowing creatures as before, as we've said, but now that you're looking at a giant dead body of one, you realize that this is a purple worm. A dead purple worm in its own tunnel. Those aren't stalagmites, they're teeth.
Their teeth?
Yeah.
Yes, this is a tooth.
Sort of like the dune worms, a little bit. Long, thin teeth. That's sort of how I visualize them, anyway.
Did the teeth of the people?
The way I think about it is like magical beasts. Their teeth might grow differently with different mineral structure and everything.
Yeah, because the worms dig through solid rock and eat like gemstones and crap. So it's probably a sturdier thing than human teeth would be, I would imagine.
I don't think this thing could turn a Tarrasque to dust.
I don't know. We'll see. Spoilers. Damn it, that was my final boss. You'll figure me out.
Dang.
The fact that it's similar to bone composition makes more sense too. So, yeah, they were all rendered to dust. So this is something particular to whatever physiology is at play here.
The most notable feature of a purple worm, aside from its size, is in its name. They are a very vibrant, very distinct purple, and they are unmistakable when you see one, provided they don't emerge out of the ground and swallow you whole. It's very much not purple.
This leads to a question that I don't know if Tedlington would know or not. I mean, purple worms, like you said, are a known entity as natural disasters, basically. If you knew what a purple worm was, you'd probably also know that they're incredibly valuable because of the immensely powerful venom in them.
You bring up a point. You would also know that purple worms are not to be fucked with. They are extremely powerful and dangerous monsters that only the experienced should attempt to slay. In universe, they are a CR of 15, which is a party of 4 15-level players having a decent challenge in fighting it, and everyone here is level 3. These are very powerful and very dangerous creatures, and it is lying dead in your path.
I like those odds.
Hopefully the only one in our path. I'm pretty sure that this was a purple worm based on the tooth that Hank just handed this way. Seems to fit with the cave. And the tunnel being smaller up ahead than it is right here.
The earthquake. This has to be what caused the earthquake, then. I've heard stories about these things from Breaker. They're not easy to kill. Armored plating, they dig through the rock. Is this the only way forward?
I'm going to once again offer my tunics for mouth covering, should anyone like them.
The funniest thing is this the first time where Erwin doesn't argue with you?
Do people want the tunics? Because he'll pass them out.
Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Yeah, Erwin takes one.
Yeah. You're just going to see Thad, you're going to see his armor, which you haven't seen this yet. It's just going to, clank up and form a helmet over his head.
That is pretty neat.
With, little ventilation holes.
And I'll also take one of the tunics.
Excellent. If you don't get them laundered, you can just keep them.
All right, everyone. Pay close attention as I start making my way in, because this is very dangerous.
One more step, Erwin.
Yeah. The dead creature is quite large. Not much more cramped than the other tunnels before it. And aside from the stench, it would take little effort to forget this was once a living being. Most of the internal workings of the behemoth have already decayed to powder, leaving flaking bits stuck to the walls and a thick carpet of dust on the floor. Here and there, patches of the floor crunch underfoot, as the usually thick and armored hide of the worm has become brittle and death. Further ahead, as the decaying body curves, you see a large pool of foul-smelling green liquid. A good 20 feet across, various bits of debris and rock are scattered within it, like many uneven stepping stones.
Okay, so it's enough to, if we were to try and cross, we could step on them.
Correct.
Okay.
So I happen to have 50 feet of hempen rope, as well as some pitons in my backpack. Should we get one person across, we can anchor it on the other side as well, and then have a far easier time.
Thad holds up his hand and is like, just a second, just hand me the end of the rope.
Of course. I'll hold the other side of it, yes?
Yes.
Okay.
And you just see Thad just skitter along the side of the wall over to the other side.
Thad, and you're gonna hate me for this, the edge of this worm is brittle and is easily shifted and broken into powder, and climbing it would probably take a little bit more effort than it would be for a normal wall. If you place your hands wrong, too much pressure, it could break and dunk you into the acid.
So all the walls here are brittle?
Yes. I need you to make... Let's just do sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand? Okay.
Yeah. So we'll just be...
Sleight of hand it is.
Check. Yeah. Yours should be pretty good because you're an Arcana and your dex is crazy. So.
Well, my dex isn't crazy, but I'm proficient in sleight of hand, and I'm going to use guidance.
Sounds good. So here's the other question then. The intent is to put the little spikes you jam into the walls for mountain climbing, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I guess there's stuff behind the worm's body.
You can nail it straight into rock. That's the point of it. So we could just
could probably... Yeah, okay. I was just internally, making sure that would still work.
And we can double up the pittance, so there's, because I have 10 too, so we could double them up so that there's, less weight on each one.
Sounds good.
So 16 plus 3 plus my proficiency is 4.
Yeah, that you do that just fine. There's no issues. There's not even like a scare. Would you say that you maybe try to drive the spikes in on the way?
Yeah, that's if we're driving spikes in. Yeah, it's gonna drive the spikes in on the way.
Okay, yeah, then you do that. That sounds good to me. Perfect. Each place that you drive the pittons into the wall, there's definitely like large chunks of the worm has kind of like sloughed away. You know, like when a sand castle collapses almost and splashes into the acid. With the pittons, does that like negate the need to do a check for climbing? I'm assuming that's what like the use of a rope is.
What the pittons do is like instead of climbing a sheer wall, it's giving you handholds and footholds.
So yeah, that would lower the DC. It wouldn't make it just easy peasy. Okay. You went out on the other side of the pit, or the acid pool. So who is going first? It's athletics for climbing. Forgot to mention that, yeah.
Tedlington will suggest that whoever's going across at the time, because we have plenty of rope, have the rope tied to them so that they can be pulled to whichever side they're closer to should they fall.
I've lowered the DC significantly. I think most folks should be able to clear it. Okay, Garan, you're able to make it most of the way across, but due to a misplaced foot, you slip. Garan, make a dexterity saving throw. You're so close to the other side that you might be able to just catch the edge to maybe catch yourself before you fall in. Okay. Yeah, because there's pittons above and then probably ones below to put your feet on. Is that my understanding of how you set things up? Okay, so yeah, you lose your grip on the upper ones, but you're able to catch the lower one and very barely dangle above the acid and recover and get to solid-ish ground.
I'll take it.
Oh, Garan and I can hold the rope for the next person.
Yeah, so now we have 2 people on each side. So we should send... Oh, this is a perfect time. Let's send Erwin. The rope will be wrapped around him. And that way we'll have 2 people who can pull, making sure, should something happen, he will spend the absolute minimum amount of time in stomach acid.
Provided the rope doesn't get disintegrated, because it is rope, and this is stomach acid that dissolves rock.
We'll be alright. You'll be fine, Erwin. 1 foot in front of the other, my friend.
Yeah, sure. He starts to climb. That's 13. That's good enough. There's a couple of moments where he seems to be a bit nervous because he had intended to go adventuring, but he hadn't actually done it yet. So any kind of like roughing it and climbing stuff, all that is not really on the list of things he's been doing. He takes a little bit longer than you probably would have liked to get across, but he was trying to be careful, and he makes it to the other side in about like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Honestly, I think it's the smell that's the worst part.
I'll go last. You make your way.
Seems reasonable. Tedlington will wrap the rope around his waist and start climbing. And we'll do the athletics check here.
Oh no! Tedlington, you're very confident, and you make it about halfway across. I'm curious to know, do you think he would be talking while climbing? Like telling a story while he's crossing the gap?
Yeah,
like, this reminds me of a time when I did this. With my pal, like, Bernard.
If anything, I think the more weird and nervous and things that all of this gets, the more he's going to want to fill silences.
You're in the middle of telling one of your fantastic stories. You're so caught up in the tale that you gesture with one hand, and by letting go, you sort of tilt the balance, and you slip off the pittons and dunk yourself in the acid.
Do we get the chance to yank him?
Yes, I do realize he's tied. So yeah, before you fall in the acid, everyone, that'd be a dex. Like, let's say dexterity saving throw, because it's
he's making a dex save, or we're making a dex save?
Because you're keeping an eye on him to pull. I'm playing Calvin Ball with these rolls, by the way, guys. So I would say because there's 2 of you, one of you just rolls with advantage to count for the other person assisting.
Well, I rolled a straight 17, so...
Oh yeah, that's fine. You very narrowly avoid falling in the acid, and you're able to make the rest of the way across thanks to the valiant efforts of your teammates. In fact, Erwin was helping too, because he's over there. But he's a wizard, and he's got stickman arms, so good luck. That just leaves Hank.
Did the ropes fall with him, or am I still able to...
No, he didn't fall in the acid because the others managed to save him with the rope, so it's just you.
Well, each of us has the end of a rope. We work one person across, untie it. Then you pull kind of like the slack back across, retie it. But since you're the last person, you don't have anybody on your side to hold it.
Even worse.
It's like each number gets progressively smaller. It was a 9, then an 8, now we got a 7. Okay. Hank, you're an older gentleman. I think a lot of what's been happening today is sort of still weighing on you. Let's have Tedlington pull the rope and see if you don't get dunked or not. That's a dexterity saving throw, Ted. With advantage because you got 3 other people helping. Fantastic. Okay, 16. I mean, that's good enough, yeah. I mean, we're not here to, like, if you roll a crit, it's not like he's gonna, like 1 minute you saw Hank there about to fall in the acid, and then suddenly Hank is standing next to you. There was no, like, travel time. It was like he teleported. It was a jump cut. It was crazy.
And he smells like lavender now.
He smells like lavender. It's bizarre. It's the weirdest thing. No idea how it happened.
That was incredible, guys. Let's keep moving.
Yeah, thanks, guys. That was awesome. Yeah, like, what the... Okay? No, but yeah, no, 16 does it. You're able to prevent him from getting dunked in the acid. Honestly, the Paytons was a really great idea. Who was the one who had that idea initially? Was it...
Tedlington, I think.
Tedlington? Yep. Take a point of inspiration. I actually really like that. It's not often my players actually use the stuff that comes in, like, the base exploration kit that they get with their character. Not dunking on anybody of my players. Like, it's easy to forget about that stuff because you get, like, all sorts of shit. Yeah, I like that. And that definitely made this a lot less dangerous because that acid could have really jacked some people up. Everyone has made it across thanks to the clever use of climbing equipment. The worm's body curves past the pool and begins to slope downwards gradually. And eventually, after too much time spent inside this corpse, you reach the other side. Much to your relief, you find the other end has fallen apart and crumbled away, leaving a large gap in the creature, preventing you from having to do some less than enjoyable exit strategies for the corpse. You emerge back into another natural cave. You find the other cavern tunnel, the one that collapsed and was filled with rubble. It seems to connect to this area as well, on your right. Directly ahead of you is another collapsed tunnel. That seems to be where the worm came from. The tunnel that it exited before dying here in this little crevice is also caved in, leaving only a path to the left.
It looks like this was the other end of the tunnel to us. Okay.
Yes, the one that collapsed. So you ended up in the same place anyway.
Well, lucky us. Seems like we're back on track.
Onward we go. Because that's by far the closest Tedlington has been to possible death so far. So he's going to stop everyone before we move on and say, excuse me, everyone. I just wanted to formally thank you all for quite the bit of heroics you all pulled to save me and also others as well from what may have been a grisly fate. That is all. Moving on. We can move on.
He's like, I don't want to dwell on it. No, feelings. No.
I think Hank would kind of say, no problem, friend. I'll maybe like pat him on the back.
No worries, son.
I wasn't worried for you. I knew you wouldn't die in a way that wouldn't let you have your last words.
That would be really the worst scenario, don't you think? The final thoughts of Tedlington not prescribed to the history books?
Of course.
I think it'll be a true shame that it won't be in your calligraphy because, well, I mean, I guess if you wrote it beforehand, you could do that. What do you think?
Oh, that's a good point. Maybe I should start keeping my calligraphy pad out during combat. I wonder if I could fire a quill with a bow. He definitely would look sheepish as he gives the thank you, but he would, clearly like light up and look normal again as soon as kind of the party has sort of broken the tension as they did.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so like as we were making those statements, Hank kind of like pats Tedlington's shoulder again. You remind me of a traveling buddy I had a few 200 years ago. Quite spry. We got into a lot of trouble. Tight spots like that. Bring back memories.
I hope we get to adventure further. You and I. I think there's plenty more fun to be had after this, and hopefully, things that aren't quite so horrifying.
Quite.
Create some better times.
As you traverse more curving and descending tunnels into the earth, you begin to see the darkness give way to a dim glow. The tunnel ahead begins to expand with branching paths leading off in various directions. The glow, while faint and barely perceptible, is coming from large amounts of naturally occurring fungus growing along the edges of the cavernous pathways. Some small enough to be plucked from the stone, others tall and intimidating, but all of them pulse irregularly with that faint, blasphemous light. The tunnels ahead seem confusing and winding, and it is unclear which way you should go.
Do we hear anything?
Quiet. Quiet as the grave.
It looks like this could take some time. Garan, how much of that chalk do you have left?
I got the value pack of the sidewalk chalk.
You've got like the 64, like the big ones for children that like you can draw with your fist. Yeah, like the big ones.
Yeah, they count as improvised weapons, and they're light, so you can sneak attack with them.
Always thinking on his feet. If you're just marking intersections, this is probably the time where things are going to be needed.
I'll mark it up.
Approximately how many paths do we have before us?
So there's like a thin, like faint mist in this area. You are in this bottom opening. There is a path to your left, further ahead to your left, directly ahead, and then to your right.
I have half a mind to just go dead forward.
With the light from the mushrooms, can we see, like, far down to these tunnels?
Not super far. It's a very faint light, so it's better for your immediate area. Distantly, it's harder to tell where things go.
Thad would like to take a closer look at the mushrooms.
Okay, Thad.
He would like to look if the light is on them or coming from within them.
It's coming from within them without even needing to do a check. It's from within.
And he's going to take his dagger and he's going to cut one off the wall.
Which ones?
Small
Okay.
one. It doesn't need to be big for him to get the answer he's looking for.
Thad, can you make a stealth check for me?
A stealth check?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Range request, but okay.
I'm in danger.
15 plus a 4, that's a 19.
You scrape the mushroom off with no issue.
He's not like holding on to it, he's just severing it from the wall.
It falls to the floor and it still glows.
He's going to look at the wall, where like the mycelium or the roots of the mushroom go into the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Are those glowing?
Very, very faintly. Like I said, it's not like blinding bright, it's like a very dim glow.
Are they continuing to glow, or is the glow fading or not?
It's still glowing.
Okay, that answers his question.
That's also a good question as well. There is like a thin layer of mycelia along the entire floor of the cavern as well. So they're just intertwining little strands of fungal growth everywhere you step. Erwin sort of like holds his lantern out and kind of looks at it and realizes that there's enough light that he doesn't really need it and sort of shutters it and hooks it to his belt. And he quietly turns to you. All it says, "I'm not a navigator. I don't suppose anyone has a good idea of where to go."
If we are looking for the source of our problem is this light. And seeing as the light permeates all organic matter, it infects, for a better word. If we go to where the most light is, we'll probably find whatever it is that's causing this, for better or worse.
At this point, I'm not sure I want to know where the light's coming from.
You said the mycelium covered the floor. Are there
Yes.
footprints in it?
That's a good question. Make an investigation check. I mean, with a -1, you can only do so terribly.
Yep.
The worst you can do is a 0.
There you go.
Better than a 0, but still,
Nailed
the
it.
light is too dim. If there's any indications of footprints here, they are very faint and impossible for you to discern without like the skill necessary to find them.
And Tedlington will sort of amble around a little and then kind of go back to watching everyone else.
Okay. 14.
Just rocks and fungus.
Yeah, but with the 14,
These faint footprints I see right here.
Yeah, with 14, if there were footprints, as I said, you wouldn't be able to see them. You're like, that's
My
not a good
imaginary
roll. Yeah,
footprints.
your imaginary footprints. Yeah.
Tedlington, seeing that no one has a better idea, will just suggest we could just start trying them one by one.
I'd be inclined to agree. I say we try the one at the far end.
So straight ahead. Honestly, y'all are the first group that selected that path, so I have to, because these are screen grabs of a bigger drawing, so I have to make a new one. Passing by the other tunnels in favor of going straight ahead. And also, what kind of armor is Hank and Tedlington wearing?
Leather.
So I've got a plate mail on.
Hank, I need you to make a stealth check.
Good old 7. I would say Hank is not confident, but he's not thinking he's in danger as he's heading forward.
Yeah, that's fair.
We have rolled a lot of 7s. A statistically
yeah.
significant number of 7s. A lot of 8s as well. No other number sticks out.
Hank, a little bit too loud of a footfall. In fact, I would say with a 7, I think you trip over like an uneven cavern chunk of the floor. And that landing on the floor, combined with your like probably surprised, like, oh, something unexpected happens. You turn to your left after trying to get up off the ground, and you see one of the larger mushrooms vibrate, and then 3 holes open up on the surface of the cap, and everyone is immediately deafened by the sound of a horrible screaming. Like a whistling shriek echoes through every tunnel around you, and from those holes screams beams of that light, concentrated beams that just shoot outwards like spotlights, directly into the ceiling. And with that screaming, you see 2 other large mushrooms down the path ahead of you shake and vibrate before dozens and hundreds of mycelial strands pour out from underneath the stem and start ambulating them towards you. You're under attack. Roll initiative.
Oh boy.
Actually, you know what? We don't have enough time for this. We're playing this fast and loose. Instead, what we're going to do is that if someone has an idea of something they want to do, they go first. I'm going to give Hank the floor because he was the one that initiated combat, and he's the closest. So let's play it by ear and see how things go. Like initiative, we're going to be here all damn night. So these are mushrooms the size of you. They're tall, huge mushrooms moving forward on loads of little mycelial strands like tentacles.
Oh, okay. So they're coming out. They're coming after me. Okay.
Yeah. Then there's the one on the left of the path that's screaming and shooting beams of light out of the holes in its surface. And it has not stopped screaming, by the way. It is still screaming.
Okay, so in the sheer pain of hearing that scream, I'm going to take my weapon and I'm going to slice into it.
Make an attack roll.
Okay. Oh, terrible.
Well, it's a good day for you because that still hits. It's stationary and it's a mushroom and it's right in front of you. Okay, roll damage. Can't imagine this is going to take long to take care of.
7 again.
Okay.
As I grab, I pull up the cloth I'm using to hold my face, and I kind of do a big swing and like kind of cleave it in 2 if I can.
Okay, so you bring it down on top of it, and you manage to slice the cap mostly in half, and you see as the blade goes through it, you see more of those mycelial strands get like cut and snapped, and you see like more of them writhing from inside. And that light sort of shines out of the gap from where your sword struck it. Fortunately, the reflection does not like directly go into your eyes or affect anyone else in the party. It's not looking great. The screaming has gone from like a loud wail to more of like a warbly one, like you accidentally dropped your speaker in the pool. The light has also sort of flickered and it's almost like a strobe now. It is not dead though. Is that all you can do?
I think so.
Okay. Erwin is just kind of surprised. And he holds out his hand and instinctively shoots firebolt at the mushroom that you just attacked. Oh god, Erwin, how do you miss? No, wait, no, you don't miss. Never mind. That's a 3 + 5, thank god. That hits. It strikes the body and he rolls 1d10. Oh yeah, that firebolt goes searing right through the stem, melting through it, and the mushroom teeters off of it and falls to the floor, and the screaming goes silent. The light also, noticeably, disappears from the mushroom, and it partially sort of disintegrates on the floor. Most of it remains intact. Okay, who's next? You've got 2 more mushrooms coming down the tunnel ahead of you.
The mushrooms are within 5-foot line at 30 feet, right?
Oh yeah, they're absolutely right next to each other.
There's a bunch of mushrooms on the walls too, right?
Yeah, not all of them are, like, most of them have stayed put. The big ones that were in your immediate vicinity did attack, but the rest of them are, like, small. They're mixed around.
We're gonna Tasha's Caustic Brew the whole side of that hall.
Okay, alright, so you're gonna, like, probably step in front of Hank and Erwin so that you don't...
Or reach around in front of them and shoot the acid.
Okay, yeah, alright, attack roll.
Nope.
Right, no, it's a dex save. This is so funny, because these are mobile, but they have a -5 to dex, so that's gonna be interesting to see if they can save on this. That's a critical failure for one of them, and a nat 20 for the other!
That's fine. I wasn't just aiming for them. I was aiming for all the mushrooms on the wall.
Oh, the other mushrooms just get damaged. The other ones are not alive, or at least they're not, well, they're alive, but they're not, like, mobile and aggressive. So, that first one gets, like, the full brunt of this, like, blast of acid, and it just sort of, like, a lot of the mycelial strands that allow it to move just instantly, like, melt in, like, the goo on the floor, and it teeters forwards and slaps into the ground. That's it for that one. Yeah, there's still one coming after you. That's the nat 20 one. So this one ambulates past its fallen brother or partner or whatever, and it lashes out. Several of these long mycelial strands sort of like extend outwards from beneath it, helixing around each other before they whip forward between Erwin and Hank and attempt to strike Tedlington in the face. Tedlington, what's your AC?
16.
+2 to hit. That's a 13. These things barely miss. They go like to either side of your head, and you even hear like the audible sound of them whipping through the air before like snapping back. They attempt to lash out at more people. Hank, what's your AC? 15?
15.
That time it hits. They whip out and strike you in the cheek.
Woo!
You take 7 necrotic damage. You feel like a very awful numbing burn in your cheek, from the strike, and others can even notice like a blackening and like a very like disgusting effect like occurring on your skin. It then whips out again, this time trying to strike Thad again in the face. Thad, what's your AC?
18.
That's a 9 plus 2. You're too nimble. You dart backwards after seeing it strike out at everyone. You dart away, and it barely misses. And then one more. This one strikes out at Erwin. Erwin, smartly, he like very barely like leans his head back as it whips out at his face, and it misses. All right, just for everyone's clear, these things have multi-attack, but I have to roll a d4 to determine how many times, and they rolled a 4. So, all right.
Oh boy.
Tedlington, I guess you and Garan are the only people who haven't done anything yet, so...
Arrow
What do you wanna
away.
You're just gonna shoot it in the cap?
At the spot between the cap and the stem.
Dope, okay, make an attack roll. Oh, that definitely hits. That hits super hard. That's like the super hit.
Oops. That should be 1d8, but so
1d9 plus 13?
it should be a 1d8 instead of 1d9, but yes.
It's still plus 13 though.
Yes, still plus 13. That's the sharpshooter benefit.
Okay, so just roll that again for me. Actually, no, I take that back. You're right. It was below a 9, so 4, yeah, we'll go with the 17. Holy crap, yeah. That arrow sails through the air, goes right through the stem, and the thing sort of teeters and falls to the floor and grows still, part of it sort of disintegrating away. Yeah, you're out of combat. Everything happened so fast that Garan was like, well, he just like, it's like in an anime, he had his cane ready, he was half unsheathed, and then he saw the combat was over, and he just quietly sheaths it again.
Yeah, as basically like
Oops.
taking a finger and trying to fix his ear, as that was probably very loud and painful.
The hell was that thing?
I'll just use the long rest potion then, because I need to get my spell slots back.
All right. When you drink that potion, Thad, it's quite invigorating. This has been a long journey since you got to Maliborough, and even then, like, it's not like sleeping on the road is exactly restful. So this has been a very long, very trying, very tiring day. But upon drinking this potion, it feels amazing. You feel very well rested. It's as if you had a wonderful night's sleep in the most comfortable bed that you've slept in, or in the most comfortable web that you've slept in. And you feel vigor like fill your body. Everything's back. Spell slots, one day of use like abilities and stuff, like if you have action surge or whatever. The only stuff I think that wouldn't count is like artificer crafting stuff and making things. Then again,
like my infusion wand that every dawn.
that doesn't get replenished, but everything else, yeah. You're in the middle tunnel. There's a path upwards to the left that splits off into 2 other paths further to the left and then to the north. Then you have a path to the right, and then another path to the left that goes back the way you came, which I don't think you would take anyway, but it's there if you really want to.
What are we feeling? What way should we head?
Tedlington will put a finger over his mouth, like in the quiet, and then point just straight, continuing straight.
So upwards to the left?
Sure. Yes.
Okay. Sorry for the listeners. I don't know how to describe this labyrinthian tunnel. Just, if you're lost, so is the party. Enjoy it.
We sure are.
Heading quietly down this pathway, you reach, very quickly, another intersection. The tunnel that you follow continues off to the left, and then there's another intersection up to the north that curves off in the same direction, another path to the right. All the while, you see the same mushrooms scattered against the edges of the tunnel every which way you look.
Yep, I think we'll just kind of keep heading in the same direction, right? At this point.
Feeling north.
Are you
Yeah.
going north,
Yeah.
west, or northeast?
So we'll go north and I guess left, I suppose.
Yep, sounds good.
Let's see.
The classic north left.
North left, not northwest. It's north left, everybody. Because there's only one way to be facing.
It's north southwest.
God, what is west left?
No, it'd be west down.
West down.
I hate this.
Northwest
is-
and west down.
This is the direction you've gone. And I try not to laugh at like the shape it's in, because that's not deliberate. You head down this tunnel and it curves back in the direction you came from. And you see one path that heads straight back in that direction, along with another path that you surmise is connected to where you just came from as well. It seems that you might be going in a circle.
I knew we should have gone north-right.
I was gonna suggest that we double back and take the right path from there.
You're going to double back, and then I'll address the 21. Going back to where you came, you actually start really trying to find some evidence of people having passed through here, and at first you feel like what you've discovered is just your own footprints. which is like kind of disheartening. But it quickly becomes apparent upon further reflection and investigation that there is a lot of like crushed and stepped upon mycelium here. There's not so much footprints as just a lot of it has been crushed by other people passing through. So there's evidence of something having come through this area and crushed all of the mycelium, probably a large group. And that does go the way you intend to go now, to the right, north right, as we've decided to coin it.
Do the footprints appear to be organized or
No, they're sort of like, and this is not to say they were running through, but just imagine like a large group of people having run down a dirt path, and there's just like chaos in terms of like what's on the ground to indicate the passage of people. It's not so much single file as much as just a lot of people in like no particular formation walked through here and made a mess of the mycelium.
Sounds good.
Heading in that direction, you see another intersection with a path directly ahead, one to your right that goes back the way you came, and then to your left, however, is a tunnel that seems different. After a harrowing trek through this fungal cavern, you find the path ahead is finally converged from its many branches. This tunnel is devoid of mushrooms, unlike the rest of this labyrinth that you've been navigating through. It grows quickly dark again and curves to the right, sloping downwards and out of sight. Erwin turns to you guys and he says, I guess this could be the exit or the way forward, but I don't know.
Tedlington will still be kind of quiet, but he'll say, well, in either case, it seems that people went this way, and that's the best sign we've had so far.
Well, other than the fact that he didn't come back.
Yeah.
Spooky.
Is this the consensus? Everyone heading that way?
I think so.
As you follow the tunnel, as it slopes downward still into the earth, you begin to feel a building sense of trepidation. You don't even know how far or how deep into the earth you have gone, but it's probably further than any of you have been underground. Even Thad, his people originated in the Underdark. There's plenty of settlements for Arcana in the Underdark, and yet I imagine Thad has not spent a lot of time underground. This is your last opportunity, everybody.
Yeah, I want to give my long rest potion to Hank in case he needs it at some point. I think it'll do more good with him.
Are you
Smart.
sure?
Yeah, I'm very sure.
You are the healer. You have healing abilities that are long rest.
Hank friend, you're worth your weight in gold, and whatever this potion is made out of.
Okay, so Hank, you now have 2 of these. Where's my notes? Man, I'm excited. Okay.